Hey, what's up? Adam here again, and this is the GM prep session that I'm doing with Chris Burton for my Sentinel Comics, the role-playing game, available either for pre-order or just available to buy in the link in the description. Check it out. This is going to be very spoiler heavy. This is all just us making the story about this, so don't click this. Don't continue. Click the stop right now if you're. I think it's right there. If you don't want to see this, just stop right now. Go back. All right, you've been warned. Hey, what's up? I'm Adam, and
I'm Chris.
And we're here to do some campaign work, some villain creation, stuff like that. Get ready for running sessions of the Sentinel Comics RPG. So here we are. Yeah, so what I've told, by this time everyone's seen the character creation, and what I told them was, actually I have notes, I want to keep things street level, so like Spider-Man, Daredevil area, so like no cosmic stuff. I told them they have to have a secret identity, they have to have the work-life balance, or something like that. And then I also gave them secretly 3 questions.
Okay.
That I think help with their motivation. I asked them what their secret motivation for becoming a hero is, what they stand to lose by living a double life, and what would they kill to know or obtain.
Okay.
And like I have a bunch of answers to that. I don't necessarily want to go over all of those if I don't have to, because I'd like to keep those as secret as possible so that like that can come out in storytelling. But I can tell you like mostly who these characters are also.
Yeah. Christopher told me a little bit about his, but I want to find out more about everybody.
Yeah. So I'll do them in the order I got them here. Maggie is called the Floral Phantom, spelled with an F. She was a activist and a college professor that was in an accident and has basically become a plant.
Okay.
So she was a biology professor and she's trying to cure herself of this condition. She wants to become human again. I think so she's got like pale green skin and like plant clothes and stuff like that. Kind of a little bit inverse Poison Ivy, I think about like.
Because she doesn't want to be a plant or really control them.
Yeah. She definitely cares about she cares about plants, and she cares about like deforestation, environmentalism, and all that. But it's not like I want to kill people for doing that.
Right.
So
here's my question, like the immediate one that jumps out at me about that is you've established that you want this to be sort of a city street level campaign. What are the stakes for her in an urban environment?
I'm not sure yet. So that's part of what the environment is also. Okay. So we're setting. Let's finish the characters, and then I'll tell you where it goes. But that's put a pin in that for sure. Jen is someone who doesn't want to be a hero. She is named Riley Callahan. She doesn't have a hero name. She comes from a family of heroes that her dad, mom, and twin brother were all superheroes. And she didn't get powers until... so she trained in martial arts, but then there was an accident, or someone attacked their mansion, basically.
Yeah.
And killed her mom and her brother. And she ended up with fire powers a la Liz Sherman, so she can't control them fully. And her dad just died of illness, so she came back to this city too.
Ouch.
Yeah, no family left, but just a big empty house.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's gonna get burned down.
Right. Christopher is playing a character called Bespoke, who is an elderly man that is a tailor for heroes. Is the quick way of saying that. He has like a magic needle that allows him to that he can't get rid of. Also,
Okay. It's kind of a cursed but useful.
golden needle. He like threw it away, thinking that like, oh, and then he found it in his pocket. But he can sort of see what anyone needs. And they spoke about a little bit about a situation where she comes back to town, where Jen's character Riley comes back to town, and he shows up at her door because he had made the costumes for her family, and gives her a box that says, "Hey, you'll be needing this." And she's like, "No, I'm not," and she hasn't opened the box yet. And so like that's something I think that we want to play with also, is like she's actually given me permission to dictate what's in the box and say like and help like craft the hero that she becomes over the course of this. So she wants to not know what's in there. Yeah, that's those. But then he also is like kind of a pacifist, and he doesn't fight. He like all of his abilities I think are boosts and hinders. That he just sort of sows reality a little bit around people, you know. And then Paul is a character named Coda. There's still some things left out on here that he has to answer, but he
CODA?
CODA, yeah. He was a performer. He's a fiddler that his build is much more investigation based, and he says that how he got powers was there was something physically wrong with him, that he went to his friend who was working on some experimental thing, and he made his friend go, "Hey, do it on me." And his friend was like, "No, it's not ready." And he said,
"It's an experimental cure."
Yeah, he was like, "But do it anyway." And he did it anyway, and so now he has like low-key shape-shifting. He has a D6 in it, but his friend died in the experiment. So, so now he still is locally famous and plays bars and busks and stuff like that, but he shapeshifts a little bit to conceal his identity so that he can go fight crime, and he has like post-cognitive abilities.
How real do you want to make this?
Given what we have here, not that real. Okay. I think like
because
there could be some elements of mysticism. So like we have a shapeshifter in this party. We have a human plant. You know,
because like the first thing that him being a fiddler spoke of to me was like, well, what if he had something that threatened his livelihood, like arthritis, like really bad rheumatoid arthritis, where it's like, yeah, that'll stop that career.
That's true. Yeah,
I could see having some sort of cure for that.
Yeah,
it's like some sort of extreme icy hot that melts your flesh.
Instead of it just being like vanity, like that's having it be but it was like selfishness of.
Oh yeah,
do
absolutely.
this on me so that I.
Actually, that's a horrifying concept. Some sort of like experimental icy hot that like melts you and then refreezes you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeesh.
Capacin is nasty stuff.
So like the notes that I have had in this. So this is going to be set in Sentinels universe. It's a new city that Christopher and I created called Peyton City, which is a Midwestern metropolis, sort of. It's sort of like the central city of this. So PAY, yeah. So it's not huge. It's like Kansas City or St. Louis big. It's not going to be like New York or
right.
But like so these will be like the Midwest city heroes. the places that I have noted is Christopher runs, or Bespoke runs a tailoring and alterations business that it's called the EB's Tailoring and Alterations. And when people walk in, he can assess whether or not, like, what's in their hearts and souls, and go like, oh, you're a hero, come into the back, and I have my workshop back there. I need to come up with a university there that that Maggie used to work at. Maybe still does some, however much she's able to conceal. Like, she has pale green skin, but it's sort of like not enough that you would go, you're weird and green.
Especially like under fluorescent lighting,
right? If
where
there's
everybody looks weird.
Right. If there's a bright light or like full daylight, though, you go like, you don't look well. You look a little green.
Especially if like, what if she gets more green the more she's photosynthesizing?
That might be too. Yeah. And she also has green hair, but dyes it dark brown or black, but the dye won't stay. So there's like green streaks in it looks like she just streaked her hair, but she's actually trying to dye it all.
I like that.
Yeah. So the only notes I have so far, other than that, no one here really wants to be heroes. So like some of them have chosen to, but it seems like none of them really want to. And I like that thematically, that they're all unified in that. So I have to come up with a situation that pulls that out of them. But I also thought, the thought that occurred to me was with the needle that Christopher has, that we could have a villain that shows up and wants it, and he can't just give it to him. He has to presumably die to give it to him. But the villain... I thought about like what if the villain has thread that goes like golden thread that goes with it. So like the needle is
part of a set.
Yeah, it's part of a set. I have it as it is a tool for shaping the present, and then the thread is the past, and then the fabric is the future and everything changeable.
Interesting.
Is how I was sort of viewing that. So this guy can maybe like know everything about the past because he has the thread. But he needs the needle to shape the future.
That raises some interesting possibilities of, if he knows everything about the past, that means that their secret identities aren't going to mean anything to him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it also means that he would know what Christopher's past is, because Christopher is amnesic 10 years back. Like, he remembers nothing from 10 years back. He just woke up in an alley with this needle and started the shop. So this guy could like hold that over. He could say like, look, I know everything about this.
Right.
I know the thing that you want. To each of them, he could offer that.
That's really interesting because so there are a couple things that just jump out at me. The first one is that we have two people, specifically Jen and Maggie's characters, who could probably be tempted over to the dark side and turned against the heroes if you offered them what they wanted or held it over their heads, because both of them have, well, Maggie's character has her job and her professional reputation, like lots to lose. Jen's character doesn't want to be there and could potentially be a danger to herself, the place where she grew up. Like, she could burn down the world.
Yeah.
So holding something over their heads to even gain a temporary advantage of like, yeah, no, just don't go outside this one day. Just this one day.
Yeah.
Or, just nudge your friends this way. Like, that could be interesting.
Just stay home.
Yeah.
I thought about like, what if he's got like sort of like sack men, like that.
I like that.
He can like animate, that he can use his thread to animate these things, but like he wants to be able to create life. I don't know what he wants right now is the thing, but like I think that the two things combined would give him control over everything.
Yeah.
And I don't want everything to be focused around Christopher, but I think that using that as a MacGuffin is not bad.
So there is another way to do that, though. You've talked about the thread being the past and the needle being the present. There could be a future component where it's like he can see that. Maybe he doesn't have it in his possession. Maybe he does. But it's like that's what he's trying to get all three. He only has the one right now.
What else do you use in sewing?
A couple of different things. Like there's a thimble. There's the fabric itself that you could have like a bolt of fabric, scissors. It's a very standard
it
thing.
could be, yeah.
I mean, it could be some.
Well,
sort
yeah,
of
I
like
wanted
tools of
reality
fate.
to be the fabric, like
Yeah.
that's. But I think that maybe the thimble, without the thimble, it could be like you are unprotected in what you're like. That's the spirit behind that. So it's like you don't fully control these two things.
Even better, if you don't have the thimble, you're not protected from any changes that you make. You change right along with it. Whereas if you have the thimble, you're outside of reality's control. Basically, you can rewrite aspects of it, but can
So like the thimble
stand
itself
outside.
doesn't seem that powerful. You're like, all right, I'm protected from changing. What's the big deal? I don't get
Right.
sick. I don't age.
you're locked.
Like,
You're static.
yeah. All right. That's
But
cool.
when you put them all together, that makes you a very dangerous individual.
Stasis, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So like whoever has that could also be like trying to kill that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could also be a way of holding that over Jen's character, where it's like, if you just had this thing, you'd be stable forever.
Yeah. Why don't you go kill this person and take it? Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And like to Maggie, he can say like, if I have all three of these things, then I can change you back to the way you were. Right? Like that's a simple matter for me.
Yeah. I can just make sure, I can make it so that that accident never happened.
Yeah.
The last 5 years of your life will be, I can tell you exactly how they will be, and like it's all pleasant.
Yeah. Okay. So I really like that. I like all this. I kind of like this as a main villain. I want to have like a couple villains before that, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe people that work for him or something, but I like leading to that and having that be like the big reveal at the end of issue 5 maybe.
So one thing you could do for that is, I mean, we've already got the metaphor of the thread. You could say that he can't make changes to the future. He can make very small tweaks to the past. Just a tug here and there to change some crucial element in his favor.
Okay.
So you could almost have it be that
Ooh,
he has
I
the
like
ability to
that.
retcon things
Yeah.
after they've happened. And so that's starting to sound like someone, he already, if he's trying to get control of the future, like that sounds like someone who wants not necessarily the city, like that does sort of bring it into the more global domination business.
It does, but like on a much more personal scale.
Right.
Like he doesn't want armies covering the planet.
He just wants to be able to make decisions that will...
Right.
He wants to make decisions for himself that will impact everyone else's existence.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because changing anything shifts everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He doesn't care about the damage it causes because he is protected.
Yeah.
And he can just unchange it if he wants.
Yeah, boy, I really like that. Okay. So that's really cool. Let's just make him.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the most effective
Yeah, definitely.
way to do this now. Okay, villain approaches. Adaptive, ancient, bully, create. How old is he? Probably not ancient.
Probably not. Well, so there's a bit of a problem with that in that If he has the thimble already, which I don't think
I don't think he
necessarily...
has the thimble. He has the thread.
So he's not ageless.
Right.
So that means that he can't be more than like a standard human lifetime old, especially if we don't want to bring in cosmic stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, the way you're talking about him implies that he has some sort of level of mastery over this. So I think there's probably maybe upper limit would be like in the 60s, lower limit would be like late 40s.
Yeah. I'm thinking also maybe it's a situation where this is something that's traditionally been handed down, and like maybe there is some sort of like small secret order that like protects this thing and hands it down and hands it down. Like it's just like one person for each item. And for some reason, the chain of custody was broken on the other two, but this has gone for a while. And instead of just waiting for his master to die,
especially if the point of the order was to make sure that they were never reunited.
Yeah. The point is to not. Yeah. Instead of waiting for the current holder to die, he kills him and takes it. I think that's good.
That works.
Do we have a character creation book in here?
I don't know. We should pause and figure that out.
I'm trying to see in it because like
I had this one printed. Right there.
Yeah, that's probably one. Hey, how's it going? Do you think?
Good so far.
Okay.
I think there's one underneath the wooden thingy bit.
All the way at the bottom.
Keep lifting. Your left hand is right by it. Here.
Yeah,
I think that's
that
one.
That might be it. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Bring some back in.
Yeah. I need that.
Right. So the first step is choosing qualities, powers.
First,
how does it start?
The first step is choosing an approach. We have the concept.
So this is definitely different from hero creation.
Yeah, it is.
This is my first villain walkthrough.
Oh, okay. So these are the approaches here. The process is you come up with a concept, you choose their approach, their core statistics, plus how they enact their villainous goals. You assign the powers, assign qualities, assign abilities from the approach, choose their archetype, which is how they operate, gain their status dice, and assign abilities from the archetype list, and then optionally use upgrades or masteries. So it's kind of similar, but
right. Of the ones here, like focused seems very on point. Specialized would also work.
Yeah. Mastermind isn't bad either.
We've established that he has like the bagmen sort of creatures, but does he control other thugs?
I don't think so.
How chairman-esque do you want this to get?
Not very.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want this to be like a just war on crime situation. I want this to kind of be a little bit special.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that maybe specialized. Let's look at specialized, which is number. It's not set to say. Okay. Specialized villain is world class in one skill, leverages it as much as possible to get the job done. Suggested as athletic or intellectual powers. Yeah, so this I think would probably work. He has a D10 and a D8 in powers and a D12, 8 and 8 in qualities. I'm wondering if we wanted to like find something that would allow us to do a D12 post cognition.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
So maybe is focused focused is the opposite. It switches those two things basically. So yeah, let's look at focused. I don't want to get these out of order. Focused. Focused villain has one primary strong power that can use in a variety of ways. So yeah, let's do that then. D12 in post-cognition.
And we're interpreting that to be knowing about the past, not necessarily being able to change anything in it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But knowing what route a bank, truck is going to operate on
Yeah.
is a power in and of itself.
He gets a D8 also in another power. I was thinking maybe remote viewing, so that it's like...
Yeah, no, this is very much I know everything, and if I choose to, I can know one specific thing very much.
Yeah. Quality is 10, 8, and a roleplay quality. So I'm thinking a mental one. I'm thinking a mental and an information. Oh, what do you think here?
Of those, I think almost conviction.
Conviction.
Because, yeah, it's an odd conviction,
like
but it's like, I'm right.
But it's like
This
a
is-
fanaticism for
yeah,
what I want. So you think that's a D10?
Either that or history, because we've established that he kind of knows everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he can get any information he wants. So I think I'll do D8 history because of the
Because
Yeah,
it's all
so it's-
fueled by that conviction.
right. Conviction, history. This is very interesting. And then a roleplay quality, which we have to figure out. But I'll let that sit for a minute. Health. Health you add as you add things. So this adds 15 health, and then his archetype will add more. Choose 3 abilities, 2 using the same power and 3rd using a different power. So elemental absorption doesn't work. Defensive charging. Defend using power against all attacks against you until your next turn. If a single attack deals more damage than the defense value, the defend ends and deal damage to the attacker equal to the total damage dealt. Mm-hmm. Okay. That could work.
One thing that I'm thinking of, we've been talking about how you can know everything about the past. What if what the thread allows you to do is undo things? I mean, literally, you could call it pull the thread, and you could have it so that every time the heroes do something positive, you can just change a little thing that they did to make it so that for every good thing that they do, something that they didn't think of went wrong. And it didn't go wrong when they did it, but it's like, as an action of yours, you can say that, no, that went wrong. You have to deal with that right now because I've changed reality.
Something like that would be great. I mean, we'll look at that in an approach. I am limited to what I've got here, but so I'm going to look for things along those lines of but I think that because I have to choose 3 of these, I think that actually works. And I'm thinking of making him very non-combatant, of just going you can deal with my Sackman and
Well, even better, it's if he has that sort of ability, it's just if there's any danger to me, I was never here.
Yeah.
If you get a punch in, no, you didn't, because I'm not there anymore.
Right. Yeah, so that might work. Defend the defense against all attacks, and then if it deals more, then it deals damage to the attacker instead. So it feels like I'm altering the thing so that all this damage doesn't come to me.
Right.
It goes to you instead. So let's. I don't know what to call that yet. I'm just gonna put defensive charging and name that later. Okay, this is attack one target. I don't think I really want that. Sympathetic shield. Defend against an attack against only you by rolling your power die. Boost yourself by the damage reduced. So that's a reaction. So that's a very appropriate
Right.
thing too.
So here's an issue that is going to come up a little bit. You've sort of established that he doesn't really want to fight. He just wants to send his minions out and have them do things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're basically mindless creatures, so he has to be there overseeing them in some capacity. So he doesn't want to fight, but in some sort of confrontation, how does he actually stop the heroes from just, beating him down?
By using overcomes to try and do what he's trying to do.
Okay.
So like he basically needs a goal in every scene.
Okay.
Is how we'll have to do it. And I think with these abilities, with the way that we're building him so defensive, it's going to be way easier for heroes to try and stop his goal than it is to try and just punch him to death.
The way it sounds, and I don't know how easy this would be to reconcile with like the powers and abilities that you have, is this is definitely a Rube Goldberg machine creator. Like this entire power set is, I do this thing 50 minutes ago that is now coming to fruition.
It pays off
And
later,
this guy walks into the street so that a car swerved, and then that car accidentally, clips a lamppost, which falls in exactly the right direction, which, causes a water spout to come up, which puts out your fire.
Right.
At exactly the right moment.
Yeah.
But that's going to be an interesting tale to tell. Like that's sort of his overcome is, how did I Rube Goldberg my way out of this?
Right. And I think that it's going to be interesting because it has to be also in the past. So it has to be like, what did I change about the last 5 minutes?
Right.
That makes what you just did different. Like that's really, it's really interesting and
challenging.
probably difficult. But I'm probably making this way harder for myself than I have to be. But and then I like this last one too. Vicious Entanglement. Hinder a target using power. Use your max die. Attack that target with your mid die. So like that'll be the only attack, and it's like a side effect of the hinder. So
basically using the environment and possibly even the other heroes to attack.
Right.
Or to cause them to have attacked someone else.
Right. Yeah, I like nothing coming from him. Him just going like and pulling strings on things. And yeah, I think that's really good. Okay, so then we go to archetypes, which these are the archetypes. I think
Domain.
the environment.
Because we've already established that like he's going to be using that.
Let's
in
look
every
at that.
capacity.
Let's definitely look at that. I have not had to do anything with like really heavy environment writing before, so this is
like you're going to have to know what is where in every scene.
Domain villains are in touch with their surroundings or have specific ways to warp the environment to their advantage. Ecological-based villains, as well as those villains that change reality to attack the heroes. Yep, that's right. Yep. So this. Oh, shoot, I didn't write the approach.
Focused?
Focused. Yes, that's right. Focused. Domain. They track their status via the environment. So 3+ environment minions, lieutenants, and/or challenges.
Yeah, no, that sounds perfect because, you're never fighting him. You're fighting what he has set up.
I'll just write that threats. And that's a D10. And then he goes 1 to 2 is D8. And 0 is D6. So he wants just things to be going on wrong all around that. And so maybe like the minions aren't even like that attacky. They're more like like the World War II era gremlins that just go like
Yeah, no,
tearing
that makes
machines
total
apart.
sense.
Yeah.
It also makes
And,
sense
like-
that like because he doesn't have the thimble, things just go wrong around him. Like he is always pulling on the threads of fate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so that plus 30, so he's at 45 right now. Ascend from ignore damage from an environment source during the environment's turns. I don't know about that because I think I want him to take environment damage
Until he has the thimble.
Yeah. Roll any number of environment minion dice. Attack every target in the scene with those dice other than yourself. Remove those minions. So you can like cause the environment to attack and destroy themselves.
I mean, that'd be, you've described a car crash.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't.
The thing is, I have
minion
to
doesn't necessarily have to be
right, but I'd have to create environment minions for that purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something to consider. Remove any number of environment created bonuses. For each bonus removed, you may attack one target using your mid die using a different bonus against each. Activate one of the environment's twists in its current zone or one zone closer to red. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that sounds very good.
Yeah. And that is this place is mine to command. How many do I? Oh, I get 3 of these. 2 of my minions. He can absorb environment minions and recover that much health. Yeah, so I think that he needs something that right now creates those minions as environment minions.
Yeah.
Is essentially where I think this is going. But then, yeah, I think that doing the car crash thing is a good idea. And then, like, I don't know about absorbing them to regain
that doesn't
health.
sound
That
right.
seems a little bit.
It basically seems like if he's out of health, then he's out of moves, and you've won that encounter.
Right. The world moves to defend me is not bad. When attacked, redirect the attack to an environment.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's the Rube Goldberg. Yeah, no, this thing like a pigeon gets hit by a baseball and falls just in front of your heat beam, and now it's a cooked bird, and I take no damage. Mm-hmm. Also, poor pigeon.
Yeah. That's an A. That's a reaction. Okay. Okay, and this is the ultimate villain, I think. So we're going to give him some upgrades too. So we can do healthy, which is plus 5 health per hero. That seems like maybe not. Like it's
Not quite right.
It's simple. Like it's a way to prolong fights a little bit. If and every now and then I'll do that on the fly. If I go like they're just melting this guy down, then like sense.
It is tonally a little bit weird because you're never attacking him.
Yeah.
But if we consider the hit points as influence over the scene, then it does.
Mook Squad, if your villain has a set of signature minions, you can give them this upgrade to represent the never-ending flow of minions at their beck and call.
Bring out the reality gremlins.
That's not bad. It says replenish the villain's minion squad. That doesn't mean that they're environment minions. Mm-hmm. So let's sit on that for a minute. But like that's group fighter. They don't do that. He doesn't do that. He doesn't have a vehicle. power upgrade is maybe something that we do if he gets the thimble, because
Yeah,
that like gives him more health. Villain is utilize a process, ritual device to increase their powers, increase all their power dice by 1 size. So like that's definitely if he has the thimble, we do that. Quality upgrade is the same thing, but for defense shield, immune to harm if their shielding is intact. Calming aura. He can be inconspicuous. Power dampening field, I don't think is right. Brainwashing zone.
The being inconspicuous is kind of on point though, because at least the way this is working in my head is that he's walking down a street, everything is going wrong around him, but somehow it just never quite touches him. Like
It is touching him though, because he doesn't have the thimble.
Yeah.
If he does have it, then that would happen.
Well, it's almost. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So he's like actively manipulating events. He's unconsciously manipulating events because that's just what happens when you have the thread itself. But he's also
it could
constantly
be-
trying to redirect it away from him.
It could be that every one of these accidents is a result of him manipulating, like in the hero's past, is a result
Yeah,
of changes
that's
that he made.
Pretty nasty.
I like that. And like, yeah.
There's a story there where each one of the heroes gets to go back to their origin and decide whether or not they're going to let it happen.
Yeah.
Flashpoints everywhere.
I'm tempted to just do that.
I mean, that
Like, for
sounds
this.
really fun, to be honest.
Yeah, like maybe start that at issue 4. Like
Yeah.
build up a little bit to that, and then yeah. So I'm gonna write like big scale things here. Issue 1.
Because around issue 4, like at that
2,
point, hopefully they've decided to be heroes
4,
and the stakes are high enough that
5, 6. Yeah.
them just giving up is a bad thing.
Yeah. Now, like where they could really throw me for a loop
As if they did.
is if they do it. Yeah.
And at the same time, that would be really exciting.
It'd be great. Like this is difficult for me because like the way that I usually GM this is one session at a time, and like what they do in each session can like really inform what the next
Oh
one
yeah,
is.
absolutely.
I have to do this all at once. So like, oh boy. Okay. So issue 4 is maybe, yeah. Back in time. So we'll work on that. Yeah. I'll save power upgrade if he gets the thimble. Thimble.
Book 5 sounds like thimble time. Because that means that by the time book 6 rolls around, he is
Right.
very nasty.
Yeah. Right. And book 6 is him like really going, I want that needle. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think I am going to do the Moog Squad thing. Upgrade the Moog Squad. He doesn't get any additional health, but he does get alert. So he can get minions back. That's great. And then we pick a mastery for him off of this. Master of Annihilation, Behind the Curtain, Conquest, Enforced Order, Mad Scientist, Mercenary, Mysticism, Profitability, Superiority, Total Chaos, Unfathomable. Master of Total Chaos, so these are basically like the principles for the heroes. So Master of Total Chaos says if villain is in a situation where everything is spiraling out of control, automatically succeed and overcome to accomplish a task by throwing
That
out the
sounds
rules.
about right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. He's done. 45 health. That's it. So I need a name for him, and I need to figure out a look. That's something that like we can percolate on. But I really like this.
Yeah, that's
character.
going to
It's
be
like,
very interesting to see in
yeah,
action.
and I think that what I'm really trying, that I've managed to do in my home group is to create a villain that the players hate.
Well, you've made someone who's literally the cause of every bad thing in their life.
Yeah, I have to do this in a much shorter time. So like I spent with my home game, I spent basically the first 3 arcs, so 18 issues, setting up the main villain of the story, which is great. I don't have that kind of time. I need to.
Well, you have 3 books. Like, and that isn't a lot, but it's still like that's enough time to pull everybody together and then get them to really hate this person.
Right. So this is issue 3 is reveal what he's done.
Yeah.
Reveal villain and his ties to them. So number 1 needs to kind of just be like a getting your feet wet sort of
We've
thing.
established that he can't see the future.
Right.
He can only see the past. He knows that this needle is in the possession of Bespoke. And he knows that Bespoke and Callahan have a tie. He also knows that there is someone at the university who has like a secret that he can exploit. It seems very much like he wants to pull them together because these are the people, like he has created them and now he is going to use them to get to Bespoke. Because we've got a hero in the making that Bespoke can try and bond with, and then you can try and betray.
And it seems like Bespoke is the type of person that will sacrifice himself for these other people.
Right.
Although like that's the wrong thing to do in this instance because it gives him the needle.
Coda is an issue because we haven't really established why, like, Jen and Maggie's characters are fitting into this really well. Coda is still a little bit odd because, yes, there was an accident, but how does he tie into all of this?
Right.
And it could be just wrong place, wrong time. He was busking on the corner at the university when the solar panels blew, or whatever.
Yeah, that is a little bit rough.
And I don't necessarily think that everybody has to. I like the idea that he's the cause of all those accidents.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that he has to be, like, it doesn't all have to tie into a one big circle where he knew all of them personally.
Right. I don't think he knew any of them personally. I think he made a change and that caused butterfly effect.
Yeah, and it could even be like, yeah, he was the person that was slated to get that drug, and then he saw that it was good, like it went terribly wrong. So he's like, no, I didn't take that. You came in and took that instead because you needed that.
Yeah.
And we've created a someone who had a terrible accident.
Right. So I kind of have to wait on Coda for that.
But it could be the same thing with everybody else, where it's like the Callahan family was onto him. Like they saw that they had ties with the shadowy cabal that held these 3 artifacts in check. Oh no, they've been murdered. Let's go get this guy before he starts doing something.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. Well, we're not having any of that.
Right.
That was probably his first big act as an outright villain was
arranging for this.
Was arranging for them, and it's like he pulled way too hard on that one.
Well, yeah, so like what about, he did, yes, that's really good, yeah. What about for that then, like actually having the trigger man, so like he obviously didn't go to this place and set the fire on her house.
Of course not.
But he probably like had someone do it or like revealed it to villains. And
I don't know.
Or
like this is the way it sounds to me is you could have him hold some sort of secret over people, but it really sounds more like every time he needs to have something happen, he sets it up so that 3 days ago, a thing happened that is going to butterfly all the way over here. So if he wants to set a fire, he doesn't get a trigger man. He sets up something that causes something else, that causes something else, that causes something else, that causes something else, so that there's a fire. So like all of these things to create this one little electrical short.
It was villains that attacked.
Okay.
Yeah, but like the same thing can sort of happen. Like villains don't know where this house is, but he can go like whoop, and then they can learn where it is. So in a way that he does have a trigger man, but it's not like someone that he went and paid. It's someone that already had like a mat on for this family, and he just like revealed that essentially.
There was a time when one of them needed to take off their mask for some reason, or like when an accident happened and it got ripped away, and that person didn't see it at the time, but he tweaked it so that they did.
So they got smoke in their eyes and they had to pull it off for just a second. And
And it's just like that one mistake doomed them.
Yeah. Okay, so that puts a villain actually in the back in time issue.
Yes.
Okay, smoke in the eyes of hero. They're fighting some villain there. They go get smoke. And then that villain goes to their house.
Could even be that they died there, and that's how the fire powers get passed on. It's like originally that villain had uncontrollable fire powers, and that's why there was this smoke, and that's why there was all these issues.
Yeah. Let's see.
Probably like a burning coal got on the mask, and so you had to take it off and not have your eyeballs burn.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably shouldn't have made a flame, like have some sort of like flame resistant mask. But,
right.
Can't think of everything.
So I'm still a little bit hung up on the inciting incident here. Like that's where I want to start.
Absolutely.
I feel like we've got the end, right? Like we have Act 2 and 3 basically pretty well established. That we reveal who's behind it, what he's up to. They get thrown back in time. They get the option to undo the horrible things, but they also see the outcome if they do that. I think it's important that they see what, what each of them is.
So the inciting, like issue 1, the inciting incident, what makes these people heroes? Like why do they have to, why can't they ignore it?
Right.
And one thing that could happen is maybe issue 1 is the inciting incident for Maggie. Like this is what made her who she is. She doesn't really want to be a hero, but at the same time, like she is in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily jive with what she wanted, so that's not the best approach. But.
Right, but it could be like directly linked to that. It could be something with one of her students. She cares a lot about her students, but like at the same time, she also it's really interesting because in caring about her students a lot, she manages to keep them at a distance because it's a rotating thing every 4 years. She gets new students, so she never has to get close to anyone. She can just keep this endless cycle of.
What if her teaching assistant is in trouble?
Okay, yeah. I'm wondering if like maybe the teaching assistant becomes a villain or something, or like goes to the. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to get to the tailor shop also, and how to get like Busker could be anywhere. That one's easy. Jen Riley owns a martial arts gym for women.
Okay.
Also.
So that's her job.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might not be here though, also because she's back in town for her dad's funeral.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense then. That like it's somewhere else.
I mean, it could be that. It could be like a citywide mourning for this hero that died of illness, but like it's still like this great loss. Maybe we start with the funeral for her father.
Well, you've established that they have a mansion.
Yeah.
So what if he was a major benefactor of the university?
Yeah.
Like that
makes
means
sense.
that I could see some of the teachers being there, especially if it's like, no, this is the emeritus chair of your entire department.
Right.
And that would give, I think at this point, 3 of the characters a reason to be there. With
Yeah.
Coda being the odd man out again. Although,
But I also told them that each of them needed to know another member of the party in some way.
yeah,
So, like I'll figure that out. But 3 of them have very good reasons to be there. So
you could just have it be that Coda is there to literally play the funeral dirge.
yeah.
Not necessarily a fiddle instrument, but still.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's that's really good.
And if something goes wrong at the funeral, like that's a real good reason for everybody to jump in. And at least that's a good reason for Jen to jump in. And if they're right there seeing this funeral devolve into chaos,
Yeah.
I could see them.
I think it'd also be cool to like invent a couple villains for her family that like came to actually pay respect.
Yeah, I like that.
Like so you've got people in this like giant death armor like, coming up, placing a rose on the grave.
Yeah, I like that.
Be like, we never saw eye to eye, but I always respected him.
It was from a more formal time.
Yeah,
There were rules.
right. I really like that. I like starting there, getting everybody. So then, like, what happens at the funeral that goes wrong?
With Bespoke there, this is a chance for him to grab the needle. And he doesn't necessarily know that he can't just grab the needle yet. This could be where we find that out.
Well, and also, like, if Bespoke can see how, like, everybody, like, you see, like, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good, that guy's evil over there. All right, yep, but he's here for this, that's fine. This guy is just black. Like, it's just empty. Like, there's no reading.
Either that or, like, everybody here has a little thin golden line connecting them to this person who you've never seen before. And this person just has these lines radiating out.
That's maybe a little too obvious.
Okay.
I think like keeping it a little ambiguous is like it's still pretty obvious that they go, you don't get a reading on this one.
Okay.
Like you read everyone except for that guy. That's still like, hey, heads up. And I don't think that he has threads on everybody all the time. I think it's just like,
Okay. Is this a funeral in the lowering the casket into the ground?
I think this is like the wake.
Okay.
Like this is
So this is sort of a party then. A very somber party, but yeah.
or like what's it called, the viewing or whatever. Like it's like in a big cathedral and they have.
I mean, if Jen's character is of Irish descent, it really could literally be a wake.
Is that? I mean, like is it the same thing?
Not really. There's
That what I'm
beforehand and then remembering
envisioning.
them.
What I'm envisioning is the open casket at the front and like the whole cathedral full of people.
Yeah, that's
so it's like at the largest Catholic church in the city, and then
yeah,
like
that's definitely different.
okay, I don't know what that's called.
I don't either.
I figured that was just a funeral, but like they do the burial later.
Yeah, I
This is like
think
the-
that is called a viewing, but there's probably a more formal thing that it's called.
I'll look that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know they do it for presidents, so
right.
that might have a better term for it.
Yeah, but he's like a known hero. He's like very
Lion in state.
beloved by the city. Passed on. They're like, hey, here you go.
Right outside, like things could start going wrong.
Yeah,
Like there are people coming and going. There's a crowd of people who are also coming to pay their respects. Like yes, there are people in the seats inside
yeah,
and people giving eulogies, but there's hundreds and thousands of people out there who this person has saved over the course of their career. I mean, the whole
Right.
family has, so they want to bring their respects too.
right.
And things just start going wrong. Like little things and then more little things, and then it starts building up and building up.
It could actually be like a former like sidekick or something like that is like drunk and disorderly.
Oh,
Sort of
yeah.
like, like going like, no, that's my friend, let me in there. Sort of, and they're like, sir, come on, just I don't know where that leads is the problem. The scene plays out interesting in my head, but I don't know what it goes to. I don't know what the point of that is.
I think what it has to build towards is some sort of imminent threat to everybody in that cathedral or the cathedral itself.
Okay.
So what, like, inciting, and again, like, I don't want to harp on car crashes, but within an urban environment, there's a lot that can go wrong.
Yeah, especially with all those people around, like tons of people.
Like,
so like we could give this sidekick some sort of powers that are like dangerous to people around. The father had ice powers, so like it could be that like he starts creating a blizzard or something like that. That it's like that he has like subtle weather stuff.
The weather itself is mourning, and some remnant of his power remains.
Right. That's not bad.
That actually works even better too, because that's another butterfly effect thing where it's like while he was ill, he was not really able to control his powers.
Yeah.
So something he did while he was ill, now that he's dead, has unleashed. Like he was holding this at bay, but at the same time, like he couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
But now this giant pressure system is built up, and there is this massive blizzard that's just going to crush everything in snow.
Well, yeah, and I think that like I'm still thinking the sidekick has like some control over that, and like that's what's causing it to break.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the old man Callahan. I don't know his hero name, but like that was what he was doing, was holding this thing at bay until he died.
I'm thinking that maybe both of those things is that like it built up, but it needs like a catalyst, and for some reason his sidekick was here and is breaking down, and that's what's causing it. 'Cause like to have something tangible to do, instead of just like, hey, stop a blizzard. People that don't want to fight.
Help calm this guy down.
Right.
Keep the crowd under control. Oh God, the pipe organ is falling on us.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Oh no, there's a jet falling out of the sky now. Like just everything going wrong.
Yeah, I like that though. Massive blizzard. And that's going to be like 90% challenges. I don't need to write a villain for that, I don't think.
True. But this is where you could start bringing in those reality gremlins of, yeah, you're dealing with all these things, and wait a second, what are those little things that are causing...
Do I want to bring those in that early, do you think?
We have to accelerate the pace, though, because...
Well, I was thinking issue 2 would be...
Oh, no, that's a good call.
Yeah, we have an empty issue 2 right now. Massive blizzard. Former sidekick. Okay. I think that's fantastic. That'll be what, 2 scenes? Because you have it inside the church. You have like sort of like setting up everything.
Yeah.
You have outside this giant blizzard. You have like a recap sort of thing at the end. That seems like a full session, right?
I think so.
Just about.
It's not going to have much fighting. Like
no, that's okay.
You're mentioning that, but
yeah.
As long as it
sounds
like this party is good for that.
Yeah,
so.
It's going to be a pretty combat low fight, so it's going to be mostly challenges, I think.
Yeah.
Which is good because that means mostly twists.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Yeah, so then issue 2, I need a hook that brings us into issue 2, I guess. And so maybe it is like at the end of issue 2 we see those gremlins or something.
Because if they're so important, like you've upgraded them, they're pretty substantial mooks at this point.
Right.
You could it seems like they have to have at least some time devoted to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Because now
I like the term bagman.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's really good.
The way it works, like this progression we're building works, though, is you start with them having to deal with the effects of this person without knowing that there's a person behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You see that there are these things, maybe you think they're the cause, you go after them.
Yeah.
Then it's revealed, oh no, it's this person. Then it's, oh God, he caused all of this and we have to let it happen. Oh God, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty interesting arc.
Yeah, I think so. Like I think this is really solid. Okay, so like I have all of issue 2. I have enough to go on in terms of creation for that. I have to write out some things, but I'm not going to do that on recording.
Right.
Issue 2, I think is a lot of investigation. Maybe like they. So how do we hook into that is the question.
It looks like there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of unrelated incidents that actually have an inciting trigger.
Yeah.
And especially if this person is there at every single incident.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've established that he kind of has to be. He can't sit far, far away and pull these strings.
Right.
Like
he has to be present.
physically present.
Yeah.
So if we start getting things like security tapes and you can start putting together, it's like, oh, there's that guy again, there's that guy again, there's that guy again.
Okay. So maybe at the end of this, like the psychic like snaps out of it and is like, I don't remember any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Last I remember, I went into the university and I walked in there to see X and that was it. And so like then they can investigate from there maybe.
Yeah. Or even if this sidekick has some sort of like very partial immunity where it's, I was doing this one thing
mm-hmm.
and then I was drunk and I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And these two sets of memories do not line up.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely a clue of something.
Like I have this stacked realities.
Yeah, where I did both of these things, but they do not go together.
Right.
And the last thing I remember is these bagmen or like just get that hook of, yeah, you can have two sets of memories and they're both true.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, they're mutually exclusive.
So I think that, yeah, like getting them to like go investigate the university, seeing the security tapes. You can see the bagman on the security tapes. Before the villain walks in, they like disable the cameras, and then like the cameras go back on once he leaves.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even easy to see them. Like mostly you see their effects, but if you know how to look, you see them.
Yeah.
Basically, sort of a magical "don't look at me" field or ignore me field.
Yeah. So it's like there's weird distortion on the tapes.
Yeah.
But like you can do an overcome and figure out like and see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking forward to the design that you do for them.
Yeah. They're gonna be creepy.
There's a lot about this that's creepy.
I know this is it's a pretty dark story, honestly.
That's why I wanted to know how real you wanted to make it.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it a lot. It's still like fantastical enough that it's not like dour. I'm not like murdering people in the streets.
There's so much potential for your players to do weird stuff of like, no, I just walk away, or no, I'm going to accept his offer and betray everybody.
Right. I'm really worried about motivating people enough to like go for things because I have such reluctant.
I think that's something that they're going to have to, like, there's only so much you can do to raise the stakes. Mm-hmm. And if they choose to look the other way, then there's going to be penalties and problems with that. This person is actively messing up the past to benefit himself.
Yeah.
And every choice they make is going to have that sort of impact of, well, you had to do A or B. Mm-hmm. What did you do? The other one will go wrong.
Yeah.
There is no good choice here. There is no third option.
Right. Something
that you couldn't do, because you can't be in all places at once, will go wrong.
Yeah.
And the more that they choose to walk away, the more it's going to impact them personally.
Okay. Bagman investigate university. It leads them probably to the villain's lair, right?
Yeah.
And they can where's the villain's lair?
Oh man,
because they shouldn't fight the villain in issue 2.
No.
That's at issue 3.
I so like the idea of this person doesn't look like a villain. They just look like anybody you could see on the street. Their lair is their 4th floor apartment. Like they go in there and it like from the outside there's a potted plant on the windowsill that isn't quite getting enough light, so it's wilting a little bit.
Yeah.
Like everything looks so normal. And then they slide this one they go into like this one room, and there's just this enormous connected chart with strings connecting everything, and like detailed clippings about how he's going to stack these events to make this happen. Newspapers they never remember seeing, like that describing events that never happened because they know that it went wrong.
So he can retain things from past that he's changed also.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Like he has to deal with the effects, but at the same time, like he has to be able to know what he changed. There's like a photo of Maggie's character accepting this prestigious award 2 weeks, like last week, but Maggie's character is like perfectly normal in that photo.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
Callahan family barbecue.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, so I'll just have to come up with a ton of like things to put in there that makes them stick out. And I think that while they're there, we can have like another minor villain like attack that place.
Especially because like he's screwing over the villains too.
Right, but also like he knows that they're going to go there at that time, or like he figures it out at least. He can extrapolate.
What you can say is one of the sets of memories that they have.
Yeah,
they go in there, they burst in on him, and he says, "Oh, this won't do."
Yeah,
and then suddenly it's different.
Right,
and suddenly he was never there.
That's good. Yeah,
there can be a lot of like, especially if we have the mutually exclusive memories things of, no, you definitely did this. Here's how you didn't.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And so then he sets it up so, like, kind of just a random villain comes in to attack him.
The role-playing principle is yes and yes and no but.
I'm putting that in. That's really good. Hold on. The quality, yeah. I'm putting it as yes but. That's really good. Okay, so I need another villain there.
Yeah. Well, we've already established that like there are several in the city that paid homage to the Callahans.
Yeah.
One of them's probably out for revenge because like they've figured out
the ones
at least
that
some of it.
I think the ones that came to the funeral aren't out for revenge.
Either that or like maybe retired. Because...
they're like he was an old man.
Yeah, I love the idea of retired supervillains.
I do too. That they're just like, I don't have this in me anymore.
I put on the old death armor for tradition, but it really aches.
Yeah, just
my lumbago is acting up something fierce.
I do not have. Like I got Spanx under this. Yeah, that's really funny. But yeah, I think that he makes some villain pissed off to come to him, and then goes like, "What heroes?"
Yeah, I like that.
But I gotta kind of just make up a rando villain, which we can do if we end up having time.
Given how non-combative this team is, like having to fight a big bruiser who really doesn't give a damn.
Yeah,
like that is kind of an interesting challenge in and of itself.
Especially like on the top floor of a skyrise.
That they really don't want to get blown up because they need this evidence.
Yeah.
They need to figure out what the hell's going on.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's just going to trash the place and they can't have that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. God, I love how manipulative this guy is. This is so good. So then at the end of that, maybe like we'll assume they defeat the villain because I'm not going to make it that hard.
Yeah.
They defeat the villain and maybe he comes up behind him and is just like, I've been waiting for you. And like that's kind of the cliffhanger. It was like, and he reveals himself. He's like, look, I've been watching you all for a while.
You're really a
Let's,
pain in
like-
the ass.
Right.
How about I let you go and make a different choice?
Yeah. So what do they spend? Do they go back in time in issue 3 then?
That sounds like a good, that is the villain reveal of,
Yeah.
no, let's have you make a different choice.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, but I can do that.
Yeah. It's like there are moments in each of your time that.
And even 3 and 4 could be dealing with the repercussions of that.
Right. Yeah. This is both of these.
Actually, if 3 is going back in time, 4 is, you could even have 4 be like, and now you're at the funeral again. Mm-hmm. You're at square one. Mm-hmm. How do you do things differently this time?
Oh, that's good.
You know who this person is. You know what they can do. You've made your choice. How do you solve this? Especially if they now know about the thimble that can keep them protected.
Yeah. Who has the thimble? That is so good. That's really, really, really smart. Thank you for that.
I kind of think one of the villains maybe has it.
Yeah.
That's why he was there at the funeral, was scoping it out and maybe trying to get it from one of these retired villains. That's a great villainous tool.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe this villain has had the thimble for an unnaturally long time. And it's just I'm just so tired.
Oh yeah, no, that makes total sense. Because
yeah.
You could even make it kind of in keeping with the rest of this campaign of no, this is kind of awful.
Yeah.
You can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't do anything. You are locked in stasis forever.
Right. Yeah.
If you needed to go to the bathroom before you got that thing, you're going to need to go to the bathroom forever.
Oof.
That's enough to make anybody a villain.
Constantly need to pee. You're just and I can't ever go. That's dreadful. But yeah, just having him just go I missed the taste of wine or something
Maybe a villain name for that would be ennui. It's I'm so bored with everything. I can't do anything. I'm going to make everyone else's life miserable.
I'm going to write that down. How do you spell that?
Ennui.
Oh, yeah.
Drinking absinthe or gasoline. Drinking things you shouldn't drink.
Yeah.
Just because I'm searching for something.
I have nothing anymore. I have all this and I have nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really sad too.
There's a lot of sad in this. Actually, even better would be I like that, but if they can pull this off, if they can go to 6,
yeah,
they could solve some of this stuff and be no, this place is happier and better as a result of what you did.
Yeah.
By choosing to be heroes, by choosing to give up some of your own personal happiness, every fucking person in this city is better off, including the villains.
Yeah.
Because you made better choices than, you were allowed to make better choices.
Oh man, this is heavy.
Yeah.
to quote another time travel accidentally. Dang. Okay. I really love issue 4 going back to the funeral. I love that. So then one of the villains has the thimble. They maybe go to him and be like, hey, we really want this. He's like, I would love for you to have it. I really would.
How do you make that happen?
Right. And then the last is him trying to get the needle. I want to make it seem like,
because at that point for the thimble, it's the heroes want it, but they can't change the past.
Right.
They can only Bespoke can influence the future a little bit. He can know what that person needs. He can know that this person desperately wants to get rid of it.
right.
But the villain has the chance to change the past and make it so that person never picked up the thimble.
Yeah.
Who's he going to go for? How do you convince this person?
Yeah.
You can't fight them. Literally nothing that you do will do anything.
Right.
So how do you solve the unsolvable choice?
I also want it to seem like I don't know if it will. Like I think it'll still seem like he's the villain, but I think it would be really good if I manage to make it so that they don't know that this guy's the villain until they're already back in time. That he seems nice, he seems benevolent. He's like, hey, let me help you. I'm like, I know that you have problems.
Yeah.
Like I can see different things about your past that.
And even if it's like, yeah, no, you bust into his apartment. There's all this stuff from pasts that never happened.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that hints that he is evil.
Right.
It's just like, no, this person's weird and
Right.
definitely tied up in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they'll probably guess that he's the villain, but like.
But there's nothing. There's never any like gloating ha 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 ha
Right.
evil laughter moment.
He seems just so nice. He's just like, hey, look, I just want to help. I want to make a better world for everybody. Like this is not controversial what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, you're wrecking everyone's life so that you
Wrecking
can.
everyone's life. Yeah.
And especially if at some point in issue like 5, maybe, like that's the point where it's like, no, you can look at everything this person has done.
Yeah.
Every single choice every single thread he pulled made uncountable people miserable.
Yeah.
To make his life slightly better. And you can even have it be completely petty stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, I didn't get the last everything bagel.
Right.
So I'm going to jam up traffic for,
I got a
3
parking
days.
ticket, so I'm going to cause a disaster downtown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is awful.
Yeah.
I love this. This is a great villain.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, he's awful. I really think that they will strongly dislike him by the end of this.
Oh yeah.
I really hope so.
Especially the more it just gets pettier and pettier and pettier.
Yeah.
It's like, the ATM was out of 20, so it gave me 10s instead.
Oh god, yeah.
I'm gonna make a robbery happen, so they have to restock.
Yeah. So like, I think that I want to put it in order of severity with the heroes. So like the most severe being your entire family being killed by villains, I think. So like I think the final one would be Jen's, but having that be the most petty of them.
Having it be like, no, Maggie gave me an A instead of an A+ in this one paper.
Right.
I'm going to ruin everything so that test was delayed 2 days so I could study.
So he was a student at first, maybe?
I kind of like that, yeah.
Him being like young and...
That really tracks with that kind of mindset. Like young and really selfish and uncaring.
Right. Like Silver Spoon and
I especially like, no, I'm going to get this test delayed 3 days so that I can go like on a trip in Belize that I would have had to delay.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, this is great. Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Well, I like him being very petty, for sure. I definitely want that. If he's a student of Maggie's, though, then she would recognize him. And I would think I want none of them to recognize him.
Okay. I mean, he could be a student. It doesn't necessarily have to be of hers.
Yeah.
But it's like...
He could be a student at the university.
And it's just like he caused this entire horrible thing to happen.
There was this accident, the whole university shut down for a week.
Yeah.
Well,
I got to go skiing.
Yeah.
Look, if I'd have gone even a week later, the snow wouldn't have been perfect.
Right. It was beautiful powder right then.
It's so awful.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. I think that we're good then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's run it real quick. Oh,
Yeah,
we need to
absolutely.
make another villain. But we have the funeral for our hero. There's a massive blizzard. There's a former sidekick having a breakdown, causing the blizzard.
What petty thing is he doing, or is inconveniencing him slightly?
This one's less petty because this is trying to get them together so that he can get the needle.
Okay.
This is specifically targeting them. Anything that he does during this, I think, is specifically targeting them to get the needle.
Everything he did in the past was really petty.
Right.
And now that he knows the needle exists, he's getting more and more malicious.
Yeah. And more and more flagrant with it. They have to calm the sidekick, save the crowds, stop the blizzard. The sidekick wakes up at the end and goes like, I have these stacked memories. I was walking into this thing and then all of a sudden I'm drunk and I'm here and I'm causing this. It's something at the university. It was when I walked into the university. They go into the university, they investigate. It will lead them to the villain's apartment. Connected strings, newspapers have changed realities. Do we still want to keep the moment where he's there and he's like, oh, this won't do? I think
not
drop
at
that
point,
from now. Yeah, that it evolved a little bit beyond that.
But I like the idea of like.
But another villain attacks them there. So.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he comes out and says, very well done. I see like some issues that you guys are having. I can send you back to do that. Like, I really want to help you. And then sends them back in time.
And at that point, like, when they're back in time, that's when they can, if they're too wrapped up in seeing their own tragedies, you could poke them a little bit by saying like, no, there's that guy. You can see him taking a sip of coffee that's too hot.
Yeah.
And he decides that, and you can actually like see the retcon happening of, no, he's going to wait a little bit longer and put a little bit of milk in there and like all these things that combine to one horrific incident just because something inconvenienced him slightly.
Yeah. Yeah, so we see like his pettiness. You see all this stuff and you go like, look, you can fix this, you know. Giving you a chance to fix this. They come back to the future regardless of their outcome, and they're at the funeral.
Even better if it's, you can fix what happened to you. This disaster is still going to happen.
Right.
But you can change this one little thing,
but you can
just like I did.
Yeah.
Everything else bad is still going to... In fact, everything else is going to be worse now.
Right.
There always has to be that undertone of, you can always walk away and everything will be so much worse off for it.
Right. Yeah. I need to figure out what makes things worse about those events not happening.
Yeah. Or even not necessarily not happening, just not happening to that person.
Right. Yeah. So like that's a big thing to figure out. But then they come back to now. They realize that like they've got to realize that he's behind all this. They're at the funeral. They see him at the funeral. Or maybe he's not at the funeral this time. That like the same thing doesn't happen.
Exactly.
So like the sidekick's not there. He's not at the funeral. The thimble's there instead. That's maybe it. That getting them to do this whole thing was to get the thimble.
Just to get the thimble.
To get the thimble out.
And all the choices they made, good or bad, during that retcon of go back to the past, was just to get this thimble person. It was another like, I am selfish. I will help you as a purely incidental means of getting what I want.
That's what it is. I needed that final piece.
And you could even have it be like, no, if you choose to make your lives a little bit better, you have vastly improved the entire city, but that choice you made has brought this thimble here. Now he's going to make it unaccountably worse.
Yeah. Boy, that's good. And then the final confrontation with the villain.
Yeah.
Is going to be, he comes out and he's like, I want these things. Give me.
Yeah.
Great. That's fantastic. You know what? Like, I kind of just need a filler villain. Like, I don't really need to make that today.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas like handy for just like a
not at the
big
moment, like
dumb?
Yeah, it is very much like you need sort of a big dumb lunkhead who's going to blow things up.
Right.
Either like physically breaking them or like exploding them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the only set piece of the entire thing, really. Like,
I don't know, like that nothing immediately jumps out with this setting that we've created.
Well, let's percolate on that a little bit. I have more than enough to go on, and like I'll have to. There's a lot still to do here, but but I think that's a really good story. So
I'm looking forward to seeing this.
yeah, me too. So thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you when we play this. So, hey, thanks for watching that GM prep session. I think it went pretty well. It's pretty cool stuff. If you're interested in seeing how this plays out, here's issue 1 right there. You can watch it right now. If you want to see the hero creation, you can click right here. And you've already seen all the spoilers. It's all out there. So just click it. Who cares? Bye.